Hello, hello, La Habra Area Chamber of Commerce. My name is Linnette Falcon, and I am the interim of the La Habra Area Chamber of Commerce. And today, on the Voices of the Members, we have an amazing special guest by the name of Miguel Gonzalez III. And if you don't know who he is about to share that with you, but the last name should tell you the story. Hello, Miguel. How are you?
Doing great. I'm very honored to be here today.
Thank you so much. I know we have a very small podcast, but we are starting with a new podcast for the members and the community and around the community here in La Habra. And I know that your last name carries a lot of weight. And why don't you tell us who you are?
Oh, it's an honor. So my name is Miguel Gonzalez III. My father was Miguel Gonzalez. It's Junior, and he, longtime member here at La Habra down the street, so the original store too. This is where all my brothers and sisters all started working here back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
Up until before we moved the store down up into Whittier Boulevard, but this was, La Habra has been very good to us, and we have it. It's our second home.
Well, he seems very shy about who he is, but for those of you that still don't get it, that is Gonzalez Market for you guys, and that is an amazing story, and we're gonna get to it. And I know we sent you a couple of questions because we want to make sure that our audience know how you started. What makes Northgate Market such an amazing market, and how are we looking in the future? So I'm going to start with my first question. Tell us a little bit about how Northgate Gonzalez Market began.
That one's a very windy road, and it's a very beautiful road. So the market started with my grandfather and my father, and obviously all my aunts and uncles working, but I think if you look at the trajectory, it really started one of those blessing in disguise. So my grandfather used to have a shoe store in Mexico. They would produce and sell shoes in a little town in Jalisco.
Oh, I love Jalisco.
Jalostotitlan, Jalisco.
Wow.
And so they started there, and unfortunately, they had an accident where the shoe store burnt down.
Oh no.
So at that point, I think they had about 11 kids.
Wow.
So it was a lot of mouths to feed.
Of
and
course.
So they tried going down to Mexico City and working there, and things didn't pan out the way they wanted to, and a couple other places in Mexico, and decided to take the trip up north, right? The promise of
Better life.
of a better life in the north. So my grandfather, along with three of the eldest boys, came up to and started working here. They worked in the fields. They got a pretty stable job working in some fencing and some ironworks.
Okay.
And then that at some point around that area, around that time, they brought the rest of the family. And so when they brought the family, obviously they need a bigger place, and with hearing it from my father, he talks about how he kind of just wanted another little investment and be able to buy like a duplex, and each have a duplex where they can live in one area and rent the other, so they kind of kind of have an investment. And so they went with a real estate friend.
Wow.
And they went and they said, no, you don't need a duplex. You need
boy.
a business.
Oh, that was a smart move.
Well, it was a scary move. I mean, so he did show him a small store, a little bit bigger than the size of a 7-Eleven.
Okay.
On Anaheim Boulevard. And it was a small market. It was closed down. Actually, I believe it was still operational, but it was more of a liquor store.
Okay.
And so my grandfather instantly was, excited that it'd be a whole place where everybody can work, and the family would be together. So without knowing a lick of anything when it comes to grocery, meat, anything. They went all in on buying that, so they ended up, getting some funds against their houses and some loans, and they got the market, and everybody pretty much worked there.
Wow. What year was that?
So that was they opened that store in 1980. I believe it was January 3rd of 1980.
Oh, okay. So are we still friends with that special real estate agent that gave them that idea?
You know what? I have never met him, but he is well spoken about, even till now. But I was born like 3 years later, so I didn't get to, I haven't met him yet.
Okay. I think that's going to be our next project, is find out who that real estate agent is and maybe interview them, because what an amazing blessing to have somebody to push you to that area that you know nothing of, but he took his chances and everybody chipped in, and this is what we have today. So kudos to that agent. Don't know who that is, but we're going to find you, because that's what we do. And I'm sure maybe your dad will help us. But I know that was in Anaheim. Is that correct?
That is correct. That was in Anaheim.
And then why La Habra?
I think at that point we, they understood that the Hispanic market was underserved, right? And there was a tremendous amount of opportunity. And so then they found a really good location here in Anaheim. I mean, on La Habra Boulevard. I believe it was 580 West La Habra Boulevard, if I'm not mistaken. It's deeply engraved in my brain.
So that's a little further down, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And we actually, we now remodeled, well, actually, we moved out into the location that's there today. But we actually were looking to redo the market here. And then the property owner just wouldn't work with us. They wouldn't either sell or wouldn't allow us to expand. The city was all for it. We had some designs there that we had even shown the city and that we were looking at. But but we had that, the opportunity to open that market and to acquire that market that had been closed down for a while, and the shopping center was kind of dead. Honestly, before we went in there. Now it's unthinkable to think about a slow day in that shopping center.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. I know that in the original store you're in, I think there's a new business going in there now. So the whole little shopping center is being remodeled.
Yes. Yes. Are you talking about where the Smoke and Fire used to be?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have. So we actually have a partnership with El Moro, and they'll be going in there as a kind of standalone outside, and then we'll keep utilizing and leveraging that whole little paseo area, so they can families and guests can
enjoy
it.
Yes. Eating outside is always a lot of fun. I don't know. Well, you were born here, so maybe where your parents were from. I know that in Puerto Rico, we love to eat outside. It's like a thing, even if it's just having cafecito outside, it must be outside. So I don't know if that's where the paseo maybe comes in, but I think we enjoy the outdoors.
That's where the chisme's outside.
That's right. Look at him. He knows all about the chisme. Gotta love him. All righty.
Yeah, and we're also going to remodel that store this year.
Okay.
We're going to go back and bring in aspects of Mercado from Costa Mesa in there. We're planning to put in a bar. We're planning to really bring more life out of that location. So they're really exciting stuff for those residents of La Habra and surrounding area.
We are definitely excited. I know the one in Orange County, the one you spoke about. It's an amazing. And if you have not had an opportunity, what's the address over there? Do you know it?
That one I don't know. I know it's on Harbor Boulevard.
You guys can look it up.
Oh, yeah, Mercado Gonzalez. It is the Disneyland of food.
Yes, it is. Food. Absolutely. And it's a lot of fun. I know I lived a while in Mexico, and when you go in there, it is so much fun to go in there. But then again, if you have visited Puerto Rico, it's the same thing. You go to Puerto Rico and the music's loud and you're dancing through the aisles as you're shopping. So it just brings that nostalgic feeling, when you're inside the stores.
It really does. It really does. It brings a sense of pride into the beauty of Mexico, what Mexico has to offer. And what's really interesting is when we open those stores, the first customers that, we had people from Argentina say, "Hey, it reminds me of home."
Absolutely.
We had people from Spain, from all over, just talk about how much it meant to them and how much it represented and reminded of home. And I mean, that's so we want. We want that homeland experience. We want you to feel at home, and we want you to bring the whole family. I mean, that there's tons of options there, and we're
Of
going to
course.
have tons of options here, and we'll continue to build on that.
That is awesome. And have the Gonzalez market thought about leaving outside California?
We have. We actually had a partnership at one point with the Cardenas family.
Okay.
And we had 5 or 6 stores outside in Arizona and Texas and New Mexico. And then we've gone away from that. That family decided to move on from supermarkets
Okay.
and their food business that they had going on, and so we had another company kind of buy us out in terms of those stores. But we plan to go back. We definitely have our heart stayed out there a little bit with some of our associates, and so good folks. And there's constantly people leaving California and going
Yep.
over to Arizona. So we'll plans are in the near future be out there really quick.
So would Arizona be your first out of state?
Yes,
Ooh,
yes.
Arizona, love it.
Yes.
Well, just hop on over to Puerto Rico too. I mean, there's a lot of amazing families that come from Mexico into our island, and every time we find a good taco place, we are in love.
Awesome. Well,
And I don't think they have had an opportunity to try your food in our island, but maybe, just maybe, it'll be a conversation for the future in the growth aspect.
this all started with a dream, and the dream can keep growing, right?
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
I love it. I love it. And can you tell us what has been the biggest driver of the company's growth?
You know what? We're deeply we have a set of values that we brag about, and so our value based operating, how we treating people as we have a people first mentality, and treating our customers, our associates. Our customers treating them more like guests, and then our associates, treat them like family. So that's I think if you talk about growth, it's having faith. We're deeply involved in our faith, and I'm very proud to be able to bring those aspects into how we manage a business, and ensuring that everybody knows that this is it's a responsibility that's given to us to and be serve others. So whether that's again the associates or the customers, and then I would add that because we are a big family, we have, I believe it's 27 third generation, and then we have like 4 or 5 fourth generation family members work in the business.
Wow.
So to us, it's playing on each other's strengths, and then it's some people are really good at what they do. Some people are really good at holding good conversations. Others are really good operators. Others are really good chefs, and
Different talents.
just
Yeah.
bringing that. We have a real estate department where we have actually 2 of my sisters work there, and then we have marketing, a cousin and a sister work there. We have HR. I have more cousins work there. So just bringing that and being able to still manage with those values. At one point when they were first opening markets, my father made kind of his dream known, and said, "Hey, one day we'll each have a store for each one of us to manage," and that was 13
That's amazing.
brother and sister. Sorry, and so when that came to light, right, and that came to life, and now we're at close to 50 stores. So obviously the
Surpassed
owners,
it.
they surpassed
By far.
it, and now it's how do we the focus right now is a 100-year company, and being able to keep the next generations not only in the business, not only dependent, but really make it a home to what I think we're at about 8,000 associates. So if you multiply that by all the families, I mean, it's a lot of families that depend on our
Your
actions, or
success.
and just being good stewards of that blessing.
Of course, yeah.
So,
And do you think your faith plays a part in the family getting along so good in such a big corporation?
absolutely.
Okay.
They used to call my grandmother the chief emotional officer.
Of course.
And there's a really cool story that I'll try to get to it, but then my grandfather also has a story where it was a Sunday, it was super busy, it was still store one, and everybody was working, and it was a busy day, and he starts taking off his apron and starts folding it and starts putting his Sunday clothes on. And my dad was like, "What are you doing?" Like, "We're busy." He's like, "I'm going to church." He's like, "But why? We're busy." And then he's like, if this business doesn't allow for my faith, then I'm in the wrong business.
Wow, what a message.
It is, and so that set the standard. And then when it comes to unity, my grandmother was huge on unity.
Okay.
She was a type that's, if somebody was mad, she'd, "Hey, come have lunch with me," and then call the other person, "Hey, come have lunch with me." And it's like, you guys need to sit
Hash
down
it
and
out.
talk.
I love it. See, that is the best way to do things and fix problems is bring it to the table. Because if you don't bring it to the table, it keeps on going in circles, and that's the end of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know, COVID threw a wrench in sometimes those face
Too
to
much.
face.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's understanding that we all want what's best. We all, everybody in the business wants it to thrive, and it's just kind of checking your ego at the door and saying what's best for the business.
That's absolutely right. What a great message that is. And I know that, and that was really amazing that, was it your grandpa that said that? Your dad that said that? That
Yeah, my
church?
grandfather.
Your grandfather. And I say that means a lot because I know that my brother told me a story on his end. He lives in New York, and he told the boss, "I have to leave Friday before sundown because I have to keep the Sabbath." And ever since then, he has been there 30 years. And that they always respected that. And I think that giving that respect to the faith of the person that you're going to have dedicate their hours to the business is really amazing. So that's awesome.
It is, and there's, luckily there's a lot of options when it comes to, church service, stuff like that,
course.
and so we respect everybody, but it's something that's, it's that responsibility, right? It's sometimes when you're the boss, you usually, in other businesses, you kind of feel you're like the end all be all, but to us,
Right.
the end all be all is upstairs, and we have to make him as proud as anybody. So we, how we treat people is, it's always, that's our filter, that's our guideline. So.
Well, that's awesome. That touched my heart. So thank you so much for sharing that. That means a lot. And another question for you. What makes Northgate unique and separates you from many other markets?
Well, I'm going to tie something in that my father shared with me about this area in La Habra. When we first started here in the late 80s, those late 80s, it wasn't the prettiest of neighborhoods, right? And there was some, in terms of crime, and you had different gangs or whatever you want to call it, and he, and we asked him, "Dad, like, how'd you do it? Weren't you scared?" He's like, "I made it a point that especially those members, I treat them like people with dignity and respect. I treated them as well as any well-dressed person, and they were absolutely shocked. And it became that whole reciprocal loyalty. It's like you can see everywhere else tagged except the market,
Except the
because
market.
there was
Wow.
that appreciation, saying, hey, I feel at home, or I feel respected here. And so they would, keep
And no judgment on, he placed no
absolutely.
judgment on them, and that's amazing.
No, and he'd help with the boxing clubs and try to support sports organizations. That's when the movement really started. And it's like, hey, let's keep people busy and they keep them out of trouble. And so he was really big on that. And so he has tons of stories. I don't know if he'll share all of them, but it was so going back to that is really honoring that. I would say it's kind of talks about what makes Northgate unique. But definitely, if you look at our product offering, when we made a huge decision when we kind of designed the store in Costa Mesa that we talked about, and it's so much that I think at one point we were a little lost in our ways and saying, hey, well, we don't want to alienate, we don't want to discriminate, we don't want to say, hey, because we have this brand or this, or it's in this description or in this language, whatever. But we went all in on being authentic and saying, hey, you know what? We would love to bring all of Latin America, right? But we don't know all of Latin America. What we do know is Mexico, and we can bring Mexico to you. So let's start there, right? So we said, hey, unapologetically, let's bring Mexico to the masses, to anybody. And there was actually some criticism of why Costa Mesa, but Costa Mesa has historically been really, really, deep in first generation. We even had, people from our hometown, that a lot of them that actually lived in that area. Now it's kind of changing in terms of demographics, and you see people from Newport come down and stuff. But
true.
It's also a sense of pride saying, hey, we have some beautiful offerings, right? We have some beautiful culture from Mexico. This is what it's all about. Not all the negative stuff. It's and so being able to do that at the markets and being able to do that, if you look at what is that, Olive Garden, right? They make up Italian names for their foods, right? And it's like we're not to where we need to, but they're trying to bring the authenticity, and we live it, right? So all the offerings, my brother's a chef. He's heading our commissary in Irvine, and he makes sure that it has the same taste profile that he would feed his own kids. And my mother
That's
would
amazing.
eat. There's actually a story early on when they opened the market. My grandfather would start bringing produce, as my grandma was, hey, can you bring me tomatoes? Can you do this? And after about a week, she said, hey, Miguel, like, do you guys sell anything that's good? Because he was bringing all the soft fruits and all the vegetables and stuff like that. He's like, of course we do, but that's for our customers. So it kind of set the precedence of saying, hey, you know what, we're here to operate. We're here. It's taking care of our customers first, and we'll eventually get there. But making sure that no customer went home with those foods. So that unique experience, that making sure that they have quality food in front of them, and it's the best possible value. We can't always be the cheapest, because we're truly offering something that's not going to go bad in 4 or 5 days in your refrigerator, right?
Yeah.
We want you to make sure that you don't throw anything away, that everything that you do pay, you might be a little bit of premium, but it's overall it's worth it, and you're going to be spending less with us because you're not going to be throwing away those items.
Well, like they say in our Spanish culture, lo barato sale caro.
Exactly.
So you don't want to do that, right? Because then you end up spending double the amount that you expected because you had to buy it twice.
Yes, and it's like a cardinal sin in our family to throw away any food. Right?
It is too in my home.
So, and it's funny because most Mexican, really well-known dishes are based on like second life of product. The chilaquiles is my favorite, and it's
so is mine. Look at that. It's one of my favorites.
And salsa, so
yeah, very good. And the people that asked you, why Costa Mesa? Why not Costa Mesa? Right?
Yeah, it's a really large percentage is actually on some kind of food stamp assistance, or they're low income, but it was the the site was it was just big enough, and that it interested us, and it's right in the pocket where our the first generation, the density is there, but it also allows for for other folks to come in. I mean, I was telling somebody that one of my cousins was looking at I forgot what show, a Real Housewife of something, and
Ooh, did it come out?
they were actually pouring some of the churros on a platter for a party.
Very
and
nice.
it's like, wow, see how far
Far you've come.
how
Yeah,
far that's
absolutely.
come. Yes.
And then that's Hollywood. Of course, you got to be in Hollywood.
Yes, and then last week we actually for my son's school at Servite, we did a tour, and then that same day 150 kids from Yorba Linda High School did a tour of the store.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so all the way from
How
Yorba
impressed were they?
They were elated. They
Oh.
were just eating everything or trying something. We had some some kids were like bringing up nopales. They're like, can we eat this like this? And I want to try it. And just it's beautiful the way how culturally open we are to trying new things, and having that trust and saying, hey, it's not going to make me sick, right? It's a quality product. So
And then I'm sure they went home and they're like, Mom, so we went to the market and we tried this and we got to go buy it and we got to do this. And I'm sure that's the conversation at nighttime.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Well, that's good to hear. And so tell us, I have two more questions for you. Why was Northgate added to the market name of Northgate Gonzalez Market? So where does the North, I think I heard at the beginning of your story where the North came in, but maybe you can tell us how the Northgate came in.
So the truth is we didn't have enough money once everything was set, done and signed, and the ink had dried at that store, and we took over. There wasn't enough money. It was like $200 something to change the sign, and we didn't have enough money to change the sign. And so it stayed there. And then once we started getting brand recognition, it's like, well, the last thing you want to do is change your name.
Let's change it.
But then it truly started resonating with their customers, because anybody that comes up from the South or comes into the U.S. and really has that dream to make it big, they see it as the gate to the North, right? And so that's kind of internally we see that more of that significance as a gate to the North, and being able to invite families that are here trying to do something with their life and make it big through hard work and sacrifice. And so talk about the sacrifice. We've been a very frugal organization, to where we're not we don't want to get flashy for the sake of getting flashy, but we also want to give some people something nice, somewhere nice to shop and go about their business. But it's it's just making sure we reinvest the dollars. I mean, I think that's one of the big thing that my aunts, uncles, my father have always talked about, is making sure that we're reinvesting.
That's awesome.
And so a large portion of what was made in the first years, and for many years, all the stores were opened under their own financing. They didn't go out in loans to get these locations.
Okay.
So a lot of discipline, but it required a lot of discipline to do that for those.
Nothing good comes without discipline.
That's correct.
We need discipline, we need commitment, and we need that desire. And I love the gate to the North. Is that what you said?
Yes.
I love that. It actually rhymes really good, and it makes a lot of sense. And even though it may have started because there was no funding to get the name taken out, I think the gate to the North is pretty amazing. And I know it as always Gonzalez Market. So when somebody says, are you talking about Northgate? I'm like, I always forget the Northgate part. I always say Gonzalez Market. But I think now I'll remember it with a little more meaning, and I think I love that.
And we've tried to embrace it. In Bella, we went without the Northgate on top and just the Gonzalez, because it's La Gonzalez.
Yes.
But try to still honor that, because we know as much as it means to us, everybody here, from their homeland is one to make it big. So
That's
it
awesome.
should serve as a reminder that, my grandfather was, I think, like 50 when, he began the whole journey over here. It doesn't matter age, it doesn't matter where you're starting. It matters that you keep going and you're disciplined
Right.
about it.
Well, see, 50 is not old. I love it.
No, not at all.
That's like the new 30s. That's right. So, Miguel,
Love it.
tell us, where do you see the future of Northgate Gonzalez going?
Well, we do want to make sure our strategy is big on that 100 years and making sure we have good succession planning and making sure that, we actually have a program with our own family members to take them through the stores so they can understand how hard it is to do, whether it's pushing carts, it's waking up at a certain hour, being responsible for us before, as they grow in the business and they have the opportunity to win themselves a place in the business, they always can reflect back and understand that it's hard work and they need to
Yes.
treat the people with that level of respect and dignity. And so we definitely, the idea is to obviously keep growing where it makes sense. We are going to open up another mercado here in LA County pretty soon, hopefully beginning of 2027.
Okay.
Those take a little bit longer because it's a lot of work.
Yes.
But we have a Chino opening
Yay, Chino.
in a few months. We have, I believe, I know we have one in Corona opening up. I believe it's by the end of the no, in Corona, and we have another one in Orange County open up this year, and so we'll be opening about once a quarter, a store once a quarter, and then so we have a location already in Moreno Valley. The Corona one just got approved.
Okay.
And Chino's almost done, and then so we'll keep opening where it makes sense, and then obviously Arizona, sometime in 2027, hopefully.
Wow.
we'll be
So you're looking at what, 5 markets before the year ends, give or take?
open.
2,
It
3,
might,
maybe?
with the remodels, it might be 3, and then
Okay.
we'll go back and remodel a Habra
Okay.
here pretty soon. It's just
Super
it's
exciting.
Super exciting.
Well, I'm excited for Arizona. Arizona being the first state to get a Northgate
Yeah.
Gonzalez market. That's
It
pretty
will.
amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us, who is Miguel? Tell us a little bit about you in closing.
Oh wow. That was a hard one. That one's not on the list of questions.
Well, that's always a surprise one. We want to know a little bit about you.
Well, apart from what you already know, I used to have a professor who talked about certain royalty that talked about, they picked their parents right, right?
Right.
So I'm very blessed to be part of the family. I'm I have 3 sisters, 2 brothers.
Okay.
I have 3 boys at home. I have a loving wife. Been working since I have pictures from this La Habra when they'd put me on milk crates and I
How
was bagging
cute.
groceries. So went through managed stores, work in IT, moving up in IT, and currently right now as a director, and then looking to kind of head IT in the near future.
Okay.
But who is me is it's a question. It's a big question, but definitely what's the expression? A God-fearing man.
That's very important.
And a faith, family, and hard work. I think that's one of the things that my grandfather and my father made sure that we, it doesn't, it goes to that testament. It doesn't matter how smart you are, right? If you don't work hard enough, you're not gonna get very far.
That's right.
So always working at, and staying, with technology and seeing how fast the world is evolving, it's being really open to change and making sure that
Right.
we don't stay. It's funny because when it comes to the markets, you talk about culture and you talk about making sure that you're bringing that experience, but at the same time, you also have to understand there's a change within it.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's a hard one, but
Well, you did really good. Didn't he do good? I think he did well. Well, Miguel, thank you so much for being here today at the very loving, home-based, we like to call the La Habra Area Chamber of Commerce, because I know that for a lot of other chambers, the La Habra Area Chamber of Commerce somehow gets lost in, sometimes people go, oh, that's Orange County, right? And so, but thank you so much for being open. I know that I caught you at a busy time when you were opening the La Mirada store, and I'm like, oh my God, Miguel, can I please interview you? And you were so nice to accept, and I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, always happy to give back in any way we can.
Thank you.
You know, the community, everybody's been awesome with us, and always, you know, honored to be here, honored
Thank
to,
you.
you know, any way help. You know, I think it's well written our DNA what our role here in life is, and making sure that we're giving back and spreading love and God's words.
Thank you so much. And, you know, if there's something that you have going on that you want us to share, you know, with the community, please let us know. We'd love to share that on our end. And thank you for joining the Voices of the Members.
It was an honor.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon.
Welcome to your new podcast, The Voices of the Members, brought to you by La Habra Area Chamber of Commerce. Sponsored by Empress Beauty for all your hairstyle, makeup, and beauty needs for your special day. Located in Brea. For all your gala gowns, office chic, and beach looks, we have Uptown Bombshell Boutique, located in Whittier. For your favorite Mexican restaurant, we have Casa Adelita. For all your trophies and plaque needs, we have Action Trophy. For your workplace compliance, leadership development, and human resources strategies, we have Harbinger Horizon. For your State Farm insurance needs, we have Toby Flores. For your commercial real estate needs, we have Jones Real Estate. For all your banquet needs for your special occasion, we have Our Banquet. For your best janitorial cleaning service, we have Best OC Cleaning. To make you feel 100% better, we have 100% Chiropractic. For all your sweet desserts needed for your special occasion, we have Flavorland. For your real estate needs, we have Lily Guas. For all your healthcare needs center, we have Friends of the Family. For all your food purchasing needs, we have Grocery Outlet La Habra. And for all your DJ needs, we have H the DJ. Welcome to the Voices of the Members.